How did fascism rise to power in Italy? Have you ever wondered how a political movement can transform a nation? The rise of fascism in Italy is a fascinating story that began after World War I. This period was filled with social unrest, economic struggles, and a fragmented political landscape. So, how did this all lead to the rise of fascism under Benito Mussolini? First, let's talk about the economic crisis that followed the war. Many soldiers returned home to find no jobs waiting for them. Inflation was rampant, and both agriculture and industry were in chaos. This created a lot of hardship for everyday people. As a result, tensions grew between landowners and workers, as well as between conservative groups and socialist movements that were pushing for workers' rights and social reforms. Speaking of socialism, it had gained a strong foothold in Italy during this time. Socialists organized strikes and demanded changes that threatened the interests of the wealthy elite. Some socialists even opposed Italy's involvement in World War I, which created further divisions in society. The fear of socialism spreading was palpable among the traditional elites. In response to these challenges, Mussolini and his fascist movement stepped in, presenting themselves as protectors of national unity and order. They formed paramilitary groups known as blackshirts. These groups used violence and intimidation to attack socialist organizations and labor unions. They disrupted strikes and assaulted socialist leaders, which helped them gain support from industrialists and landowners. These groups saw fascism as a way to suppress the growing socialist influence and protect their economic interests. On the political front, fascism began to shift its focus. Initially, it had radical and populist ideas, but Mussolini started to embrace conservative elements. He moved away from republicanism and anti-clericalism, instead aligning with the monarchy and the Roman Catholic Church. This shift helped fascism gain acceptance among traditional power structures. By supporting free enterprise and rejecting Marxist ideas, fascism appealed to the elite rather than the working class. The government's failure to control the violence from fascist groups weakened democratic institutions. Fascist squads operated with little resistance, often with police support. This undermined socialist and Catholic labor organizations and dismantled local governments led by leftist parties. The lack of protection for opposition groups made fascism seem like the only option for restoring order. By the year 1922, Mussolini and the fascists had gathered enough power to march on Rome. This led to Mussolini being appointed as prime minister. Once in control, fascism dismantled democratic institutions and established a dictatorship, silencing socialist and other opposition forces. From a socialist viewpoint, the rise of fascism can be seen as a reaction against the growing power of the working class. Fascism emerged as a tool for the capitalist class to crush socialist movements and maintain the existing social order. The violent actions against workers and socialists were not just about national unity. They were about protecting capitalist interests. The rise of fascism in Italy represents a counter-revolution aimed at reversing the gains made by socialism and preserving elite dominance in society.